What's up, guys? Hope that nobody is bored out of the market yet. It's been a dragging time, but I want to go over a couple altcoins that I am now really eyeing. Some high caps, but also some low caps here and there because they look obvious to me. Just like Ethereum looked obvious at the lows, and I now think that altcoins are kind of in the same obviousness. So let's discuss that. Welcome to the FOMO Factory, Blockchain Decoded coming out soon. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. You know, there's stuff in the links in the down below and etc. So check it out or not, and check the video. So at the moment, Bitcoin $112,000. Having a nice bounce at the Bitcoin support, the bull market support band for Bitcoin. Right now, the 0.386 comes in as our biggest enemy short term right here at around 113k, give or take. But in the short term, Bitcoin is showing strength. It's bouncing where you want it to bounce, right? Bull market support band is obviously the place where you want that to happen. Over the monthly time frame, Bitcoin still obviously in a bull market, nothing to worry about when it comes to the charts, when it comes to the adoption, when it comes to where we are in the macro, and even seasonality wise, right? If you only want to look at like 4-year cycles and you don't believe in anything else than just that, then there's still a very good argument to make that this bull market can last for 2-3 months. And especially the last 2-3 months in a bull market, things can go pretty nuts, right? So the fact that we are not at 150k yet, whatever, doesn't mean that it can't come. But you know, it's a slow, like it's a bull market where we go up fast, right, and then down / sideways for a long time. Up fast, down sideways, long time. Up fast, down. You know, so. Overall, the direction is up though. And that's what we want to see. There's nothing really overheated when it comes to Bitcoin. And that's also a good reason to think like, hey, could this maybe go on a little longer in that case, right? We all know that the business cycle has already moved to the right, and it maybe turns out that crypto is following that. But apart from that, you know, why did Bitcoin top out that hard, for example, last cycle? Here? Well, pretty much because it was like up only for a few months, but like massively vertical, right? And what we see right now isn't really that. Like I said, we are going up hard, but not too crazy. Cool off a little bit like you expect after it going up like this. And then the next leg, right? That's how it's moving. So there's not really a Pico top, in my opinion, chart-wise. So looking good, looking actually pretty fantastic. And if you look at it on the daily, what do we see? Again, on the daily, it bounces off of good support, right, where we have previous resistance. Back in January, we had the bull market support band coming in, so let it grind, man. But when it comes to alts, what's going on? Of course, now people ask when alt season. And to be honest, I don't know, of course, but maybe 2 months ago it started, right? And you might be like, dude, what? Look, if you look what alt season is, right? Where alts outperform Bitcoin. Right now, I don't want to say like it did start 2 months ago, but there is a decent chance. Because if you look at alts on their Bitcoin pair, they did what they did in the last cycle as well. They find a bottom, they range, they sweep that low. And from the moment we swept that, we got only green can. And I said this like 2 months ago already, like we just got green, 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 right? But so far, it is that, right? Went down, found the low, we swept it. And so far, it is green number 1, green number 2, and now in this month so far it's green number 3. Could be that that's the alt season. That will make sense with people as soon as we are somewhere here, because of course, you know, if you look at this chart here, it didn't feel like alt season for people as well. But yeah, it technically already started here, in my opinion, from the low to the high. That's the whole season, right? Could be, could be. Another reason, but something that make it a little more sense. We now have 3 green months in a row. Altcoins are outperforming now for 3 months in a row. Right? It doesn't feel like that because it's not a drastic one kind of God candle outperformance. But who cares if it's 20% this month, 20% that month, and then 40%? Like that's also eventually the same outcome, right? So it might not feel like that. But we haven't seen this for a long time. The last time that we got 3 green candles in a row was in 2022, right? So that's been a long time ago. And I mean, that was where we just got out of the bull market, right? So it got wrecked and it had a huge bounce, basically. But it was a dead cat bounce. But we are now not just coming out of the bull market, we are more likely to step out of the bear market for alts on the Bitcoin pair. So therefore, this is more in line with this right here. Also, because we are now above the bull market support band, but also above the 9 monthly moving average. And the 9 monthly moving average, we have been there a couple times before, but we are now, we really closed above it. We are 1 green month above it. Once again, like that's something that, doesn't really happen in a bear market. You get these wicks, but overall, it's not a sustained move. It's too soon to call. Because could it be that we maybe just get it in November or in December, right? Could be the case. And an alt season in December, even if you believe in the seasonality, is not that weird, actually. Because if you look where alt season ended in the 2017 cycle, it had its Pico top in January, right? But if you look on the weekly time frame, you can see that, this like was a pretty decent top as well. But that happened in April of 2018, the bear market, right? But it's just because altcoins started to outperform Bitcoin there, while Bitcoin was already going down, right? But altcoins did better than Bitcoin. And it doesn't matter, unfortunately, for alt season if Bitcoin goes up or down. As long as altcoins outperform Bitcoin, that's what we call an alt season. So we can have an alt season in the bear market. Definitely, I think should have a plan like, hey, do I want to make the gains that I make with alts? Do I want to lock them in dollars or in BTC? Because I think that this cycle has convinced a lot of people like, oh, well, next time I'll be in Bitcoin. Right? Well, okay, cool. These altcoins are a very good way to make more Bitcoin. So go ahead. 50 weekly moving average is also for alts on the Bitcoin pair. We are now also above it for like multiple weeks already. We had 1 week above it. We closed there. Another week above it, we got slapped down, but not below the 50 moving average, right? That was like a attempt, but bulls were stronger. The week after, still had that pretty bullish hammer candle. And now we have one which is even sitting higher. So it's starting to look a lot better. Also, it makes sense when it comes to the money rotation, and then I'm gonna get into the alts, but it's first BTC, right? We all know that it's first BTC. Well, here you go. BTC had its moment, right? Obviously, if you look at the Bitcoin dominance as well, Bitcoin dominance was like whoop, up hard, right? And it makes everyone believe it's different until it's not, and then you get the rotation into ETH. Right? And for a long time, people said, ETH is dead and ETH will never go up. And you had the big YouTubers, like maybe $2,500 ETH, maybe, but it's all not looking good. And then, bam, ETH just does what it always does, right? And it turns out that even no offense, but that even the people with the biggest following, right? That you feel like, wow, you should know that they get thrown off guard, right? Because the cycle is so made to make you believe that it is different this time, that once you finally believe it, that you're positioned wrongly because it turns out not to be, and then bam, you have the ETH rotation, right? And now still actually, same is happening with alts. A lot of people say, oh, alts are dead. And at this moment, there's still some people that say that. And I would say, look what's going on, right? So Bitcoin, ETH, and now altcoins on their Bitcoin pair start to really close multiple weeks above the moving averages that has been keeping them down for this whole altcoin bear market. I'm not saying that they cannot go down again, but I am saying like, wow, the timing is like pretty, like makes sense, right? That it happens right now, actually. So if we look at alts on their Ethereum pair, for example, having a pretty decent bounce. I converted half of my altcoins into, I converted half of my Ethereum into altcoins somewhere here. I think it was the 12th of August, something like that. I don't know exactly, somewhere like that. It's on the channel. So far, I mean, if I look at the chart, I would still do it, right? It's still really low. And I do think there's some short-term resistance at this point, right? If you look where we are right now, we have support, we have big support here, we have support here. I think that if you put it on the daily, you can see even a lot more support. So would not be weird if there is some form of resistance in the short term. But overall, if I look at alts on the Ethereum pair, yeah, they have more reason or room to go up than down. The altcoin dominance also pretty interesting, actually, because if you look at altcoin dominance is basically also a chart showing if it's alt season or not, because if altcoins dominate more than anything else, then it's apparently their season, right? And this is in a nice downtrend for a long time, of course, right? However, if you look what happened right now, altcoin dominance now finally closed above the bull market support band as well, right? And you might say, like, it's just the bull market support band. But the moving averages, like, the way that works is an asset moves, right? And this in specific, it measures how it moves on the average based on 20 weeks and 21 weeks, I think. And if you are then above that, right, that it means that that asset is being more bullish than it has been on average over a long period of time. So the short-term momentum is getting very good, right? And short-term momentum could lead into more breaks of resistances, which eventually turns into a long-term bullish momentum. Anyway, I bet you if you Google the definition, it will be slightly different than that, though. If you look, we are now above it. We haven't closed above it since December, like the December run. Remember the December run? I see a lot of people say, if I, can get my portfolio back to December highs, then well, you might, right? So for the first time in a year, in this year, and actually it broke above it. So that's looking very bullish. And the Bitcoin dominance, I honestly, look, I mean, short term, not really sure. I said I wouldn't be surprised if it gets somewhere to 60, 61% maybe, but on the long term, yeah, this looks like done, right? Like done. The Bitcoin run is over. I already said it in a video before, but it has not just such a weak period right now, but there's not even a decent attempt to try to get near the place where it came from. It's just not allowed. I don't know. So overall, it could spend some time in this region right here. That could for sure be the case. And like I said, my theory still stands that it could be 61% maybe. But other than that, I think that the next big collapse by the Bitcoin dominance could make it go somewhere to 53% maybe. And that would be crazy, actually, because this collapse right here of 11%, you know, all the money went into ETH basically. Right? It was the ETH dominance during that period that went up that hard, right? Not the altcoin dominance. So when that rotation happens into alts and the Bitcoin dominance goes down, yeah, if ETH as high cap as it is already 3x's because of this relative small move compared to this, then I am really encouraging everybody not to be on the sideline whenever the rest of this move happens into alts. So, yeah, big side. So the alts that I'm looking at, and I can make this very quick because not much has changed actually. I am mostly into high caps because it is not a overall macro and therefore also not a crypto risk on market yet. Right, so if you want to be riskier and go in alts, I would say then don't be like in the riskiest place of that sector, right? Not yet, actually. ADA, and it might be boring, but I think that ADA is going to $4 or so, actually. And there are many people in crypto that say like, well, 3, 4, 5x, and I'm good, right? In that case, why the fuck, why take more risk than coins like these if they can already do it, right? And the reason for why I think it could do it is, again, look at dominances, right? That gives you perspective. You might say like, whoa, Cardano, look at this run. Wow. Yeah, but there's so much more money in the crypto market in general, right? So this doesn't mean like, oh yeah, it's now at 80 cents and here it was at $3. So it could do a 3x or so and then it's done. No, because here there was less money in the overall crypto market than there will be whenever it is sitting at $3, right? So you want to compare the dominance. How much is Cardano dominating? And if you want to send that back to its all-time high, then that's a 5.5x or so, right? And the money that actually flows into Cardano, well, that then depends on how much money is coming into the crypto market. Yeah, let it be that the adoption this cycle is kind of fucking nuts, right? So I'm not so worried about that actually. So I'm looking at stuff like that, to be honest. I'm looking at stuff like AVAX. AVAX is there are some people that say that like, well, AVAX has not many users, right? So therefore you should not buy it. Yeah, I don't know. You know what else didn't have much users? Like just as less than what AVAX has right now. Sol at $10, at $10. When I made a video back then saying like, this is a fucking discount, right? But you have to believe if something is low, that it isn't dead. Otherwise, you will never buy something cheap, right? And that's the whole first step, like of making money, right? Buying something cheap and selling it when it's expensive. Yeah, if you're only comfortable buying when something is expensive, fine, but then there's not much profit, right? So AVAX. Render, I think that these coins are all fantastic, actually, at these prices, right? Especially with the confirmation right now. The confirmation that the cycle isn't different. The money flow has started. There's a lot of money in the crypto market. A little dominance flowing into ETH makes ETH do it 3x out of nowhere, right? How much more confirmation are we looking for, right? So I'm like, with these coins, I'm like, yo, yeah, that's for me. Tau, great one, actually. I'm not gonna explain them all. It's just my portfolio. These are like the higher caps, and then I have some lower cap plays as well. I still have some Arrow, but took some pretty decent profits on it, so I don't have a really big bag anymore. But I think that this can perform very well, actually, still. Now some Chain GPT, right? And you already see by the charts, like the lower cap it is, often the worse the chart is looking at, like, right? And that's just, people want certainty at this point. They don't want to gamble, right? We have seen what happens if you gamble, right? So people don't want to buy this now. Therefore, I want to buy this now, right? Because you have to also again believe, like, well, is it dead? Is it different? Well, I don't think so, right? And if it isn't, if I'm right, then these coins, like, these prices are a steal. It's like easy in that case, right? I'm making some good money with black as well. I would suggest looking into it, right? Not by buying the token, because I think that this is kind of designed to go down, but I'm getting decent emissions. Right? If you have some AVAX, if you have some super, some USDC, whatever, you're not doing anything with it, you can always maybe do some liquidity farming, be aware of the impermanent loss, etc. But I'm getting some decent income on Black Hole for, just having tokens, basically. And then there are coins like Wild World, where these were my last sales, 26, 37, and 44 cents. It's now at 33. Not really that interesting. I didn't buy it here. Why? I don't know, actually. Would have been a pretty good buy, but doesn't mean that I'm gonna FOMO in right now or anything. I'm gonna just let it ride. I still have some, and if it goes up, fine. If it goes down, fine. See, look, a lot of people are asking me personally, like, what do you think about DeFi? It's getting wrecked. I'm like, yeah. Okay, look, chart, awful, right? Chart, like, bam, but cycle low, right? And I love it. I love it, because in the last bull market, it would have cost you $1.8 million to get the highest tier on DeFi. It was such a privilege. Like, if you had that, you were like, man, you would have been a multi-millionaire, like, with that money that you could invest in the sales back then, right? And now it's 33 cents. Right now it will cost you 33K. It's still a lot of money, but it's a lot cheaper than what it was, right? And you don't have to get the highest tier right away, by the way. But that's the same with the rest of crypto. Now people don't want it. Now they're like, it's down so much, so something should be going on. And when it's up, they say, like, I wish I bought lower. Which one do you want? Like, you get them both all the time. Now do something with it, right? But yeah, DeFi, very simple. Again, this is my, like, look, people are not making money, even though that the crypto market is going up, even though that Bitcoin is doing fantastic, even though that ETH is now doing very fine, even though that the altcoin market is still in a bull market. People are not liking this market so far. People are getting wrecked. People buy at the wrong time, the wrong coins, I don't know. So why the fuck should they go and buy into pre-sales, right? Like, with what money? They don't have money for that, right? And DeFi for me is just like, do you believe that the market will go up and that it will go up hard? And my answer personally is yes. And my theory is also that, well, whenever the market is up, people have money. When people have money, there's demand for shit, right? And in periods, small windows of periods of demand for crypto, then launchpads are like some kind of a super saiyan there, right? Like they overtake everything, actually. But yeah, I don't want to, like, first see the market go up and look at a S fund at $8 and like, oh yeah, I want the highest tier. No, I want it at 40 cents, right? And you have to realize, like, the fuck, it sounds weird maybe, but if you look at this chart, right? Let me zoom out on it. If you look at this chart, it's weird how it works, or how people work, but in my opinion, this is how it works. Here, people want to buy. Admit it, like we all felt that. Prices going up, feels good. You feel like, I should have bought more. I'm gonna buy, right? Here, it feels bad. Because it's going down. There's something must be wrong. So people want to sell. I don't want to be there when it goes down, right? While, like, if we use our brain for like not even more than 1.5 seconds, we all know that that doesn't make sense at all, right? Again, if you don't buy, like here people are shitting their shorts as well, right? Cool. So if you didn't buy here, then what's the purpose of this thing being all the way up here a bit later? If you weren't invested here, right? You could have made 11x, right? Or 10, whatever, doesn't matter where you bought exactly. But it has no use if you don't like these prices. Plus now people say, and it goes for any coin that looks like this, people can say like, well, it's high risk. It's high risk. Look at it go. It's really high risk. Dude, you know how much higher the risk was over here? How much closer we were to wherever the top is, right? And how low the risk right here is. Like wherever the bottom is, we are way closer to it now than where we were over here. Plus, again, wherever the top is, we have so much more upside, right? So a chart like this, right, with the disclaimer that if the project isn't dead, of course, right? But with a chart like this, the risk is so fucking low and the reward is so fucking high. So I'm quite happy with this. Sellers they sold, right? Therefore it went down, right? So if you buy now, it feels a little, but there are less people that can dump on you. Like if you believe in a project and you never know, but if you assume that it's not dead or anything, nothing weird is going on, then you should understand these low prices, they could be scary, but it's fucking crypto. It's crypto. It's part of it, right? And the only people that ever made a lot of freaking money are the people who bought something here, right? Not here. How the hell do you make money here? You don't. Right? You make money here. You cash it out here. If you were here. I can talk about this all day. I think everybody understands it, but try to apply it, and that's such it changes lives, man. So yeah, that's what I'm buying. Same goes for projects like Decubate, for example. Decubate also a launchpad, and this thing, this is unbelievable actually. How this looks. Do I have it? Oh, I have it there. This is absolutely beautiful. But Decubate, first company, I think, crypto company in general, in Europe with a MiCA license. So that's beautiful. This is a launchpad with an $8 million market cap or something like that, or even lower. I don't know. 8 million fully diluted. I have to look it up. Nuts. Right? And please don't try to be that person that says, well, new launches are dead. Everyone can launch a coin these days. You are not buying these things on pump fucking fun. You are buying these things through a launchpad, which is like, just look into it. This is my go-to. Is this the type of sector in crypto that takes longest to play out? Yeah. But I'm not in a rush, right? And if it plays out, you do not only get an easy 10 or 20x on this token, but imagine the returns that you make on these new launches. Right? We saw it earlier in 2024 already with launches like 2023, I don't know, Chain GPT and all these kind of things, man. They went crazy. And that was a bear market, right? Like, man, it's just my go-to little thing. Joe, yeah, also, like, beautiful pinky, the other finger, whatever it's called, big middle finger, fuck you over there, pointy finger and the thumb, right? So it's fuck you pattern, and we'll see. We'll see how that's gonna play out. I don't know, but I'm just taking Joe. The activity on AVAX, the fees, I'm getting a revenue. AVAX is gaining a lot of momentum, a lot of steam. The TVL is only going up. The AVAX's adoption is crazy. The partnerships, it's getting pretty nuts. And yeah, at this price, I feel like, man, let me get a big part of that. So that's what I'm buying as well. And yeah, other than that, it's a little of this, a little of that. But for now, I'm in no man's land at this moment. Like, I'm not buying, I'm not selling now. I'm just like, just the crypto market, the altcoin market without stables, right? It's moving like this. Yeah. If it's up here, I'm taking profits a lot, right? If it's down here, I'm buying heavy. And if it's in the middle, I'm mostly not doing anything. I'm maybe shoveling a little bit, but overall just participating in pre-sales, etc. But not making big purchases or sales, right? And I still believe like the best trade is no trade, right? And we're gonna see where it's gonna go, to the top or the bottom, right? And I would recommend you to be just prepared for both, right? To, if it goes to the bottom, have a good amount of money that you can buy with. Because look at this whole cycle, and even the last one. When was it not an opportunity? Right? So that's where I save my money for, right? But if it goes up, I'm for sure making sure that I have good crypto exposure, because it looks like barely a 2x. But remember, this is only the top 125 coins, right? The lower caps than that, they're not even in there, right? So if a Ronin does a 1.5x, then a DeFi can do a 6x, and this market cap still won't be in ratio enough to give us that 2x, because it takes way more market cap for these lower projects, to get us here. So yeah, man, way too long. That's it. If you do want to talk about your portfolio one-on-one, or follow mine, get the, in my opinion, way best insights on extremely interesting charts, there's the Alpha Factory down below. Come join us. If you don't like it, you can go, no problem. But I can guarantee you, man, that if you feel like, I want to step it up right now, I don't want to surround myself anymore in weird Telegram groups, right, with people that say like, where's the def? What's going on? The bull market went under decks. Like, I don't think that surrounding yourself with these kind of people is really helpful. And in the Alpha Factory, like, the people there, like, that they know what they do. That's no problem. So thanks for watching for now, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next one. Take care. Have a good day.